The deep hum of the starship's engines filled the cabin as Alex adjusted the navigation controls. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, stars twinkling like distant lanterns in the black ocean of space. He had seen many strange worlds before, but this mission felt different. It wasn't just exploration. It was a call for help. The alert had come suddenly. A faint, irregular signal pulsed from the edge of the Orion sector. At first it seemed like a routine distress beacon, but the pattern was unusual, intelligent. Someone, or something, was calling for help in a code no one on the United Earth fleet had ever seen before. Alex studied the readouts. "This isn't normal," he muttered. "It's not a random distress call. Someone's alive and in trouble." The signal led him to a rocky, storm-racked planet. Its surface was jagged, covered with sharp crystal formations that reflected the dim light of its dying sun. Lightning streaked across the sky, casting eerie shadows over the planet's barren plains. The ship's sensors indicated that the source of the signal was a research station nestled in a canyon near the equator. "Looks dangerous," Alex said to himself, checking his gear. He suited up, his fingers moving quickly over the buttons of his life support system. But danger is my specialty. As he descended in the landing pod, he could see the station, half buried in rock, battered by storms and sparking in several places. It looked like it had endured years of neglect, yet the energy signature was still active. Someone inside was alive and fighting to survive. The pod touched down with a jolt. Dust and small stones scattered across the floor as the magnetic stabilizers engaged. Alex stepped out, the wind whipping against his face. The storm howled like a living creature, but he focused on the lab. He could see movement through a crack in the energy shield. Lyra. That was the name Alex picked up from the signal. A female alien scientist, tall and slender, with skin that shimmered faintly like molten silver. Her expression was one of fear and determination. She was trapped under a tangled mass of cables and glowing energy conduits, trying desperately to stabilize a machine that had gone out of control. "Please, stop," she whispered, her voice trembling. Alex hesitated for a moment, startled by her plea. He wasn't sure if she meant him or the machine or the energy storm itself. He took a deep breath and stepped closer. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said firmly. "I'm here to help. I can fix this, but I need access." Her eyes widened in alarm, but the desperation in her gaze overrode her fear. The energy field pulsated violently, each beat sending sparks into the air. One wrong move could fry them both. But Alex didn't hesitate. He carefully pulled aside the glowing conduits, untangling the cables as the field thrashed around them. Suddenly, a surge of energy shot out, illuminating the canyon like a second sun. The light was blinding and the ground shook beneath them. Alex shielded his eyes, but he could see Lyra staring in awe, her fear replaced by a flicker of hope. When the light faded, the lab's systems had stabilized. The energy storm was contained thanks to Alex's quick thinking and human intuition. Lyra let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "You saved me," she said, her voice trembling but sincere. Alex smiled, wiping a streak of dust from his face. "We saved each other," he replied. This thing was about to explode. If I had waited, it might have been too late. Lyra studied him for a moment. You humans are unpredictable," she said. "I didn't know anyone would think so fast under pressure." Alex shrugged. "That's kind of our thing. We survive by solving problems no one else expects." For the first time since the storm began, Lyra relaxed slightly. She gestured to the lab. "Come inside. I need to make sure the machine is fully secure. I can explain everything, but it will take time." Alex followed her into the station, stepping over the glowing conduits that now hummed safely. Inside the lab was a chaos of wires, half-finished experiments, and strange alien devices. Holographic screens floated in the air, displaying rotating models of planets and energy patterns. Lyra moved quickly, pressing buttons and adjusting settings, and Alex couldn't help but be impressed. "You really built all of this by yourself?" he asked. Lyra nodded. "I've spent years here alone, studying energy fields, trying to understand how to control them. But this experiment was too ambitious. The energy exceeded my containment designs. That's why I sent the signal." Alex examined the readings. The energy field was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was alive in a way, almost intelligent, responding to the smallest changes in the lab. If it had escaped, it could have destroyed the station and perhaps much of the surrounding canyon. Impressive, he said, but also dangerous. We need to make sure this never happens again. Lyra nodded, her eyes bright with determination. I know, but I can't do it alone. I need someone who can think differently. Someone human. Alex laughed softly. Lucky for you, that's me. They worked side by side, checking systems and recalibrating the energy field. Lyra explained her research as they went, and Alex listened intently. Humans had always been underestimated by other species in the galaxy, but here on this storm-battered planet, he realized that his quick thinking, adaptability, and courage were exactly what Lyra needed. Hours passed and the storm outside began to subside. The energy field stabilized completely and the station hummed with renewed power. Lyra looked at Alex with gratitude. You saved my life and my work. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Alex shrugged again. Just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe let me tag along for the adventure. She laughed softly, a sound that echoed strangely in the metal corridors. You're braver than I thought. Or maybe just foolish, Alex grinned. Maybe a little of both. For the first time in days, Lyra felt safe. And for Alex, the realization came quietly. This mission was no longer just about helping someone in trouble. It was about discovering something far greater, the resilience, courage, and ingenuity of humanity, something that even the most advanced alien civilizations could not fully understand. The storm had passed, but new challenges were already approaching, and Alex knew, with Lyra by his side, they could face whatever the galaxy threw at them. As night fell over the canyon, the two of them stood together, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, more danger awaited. But for now, they had survived, and sometimes that was enough to ignite the first sparks of trust and the beginning of a remarkable adventure. The storm had passed, leaving the canyon bathed in a pale, eerie light. Jagged crystal formations glimmered faintly, reflecting the last rays of the dying sun. Alex and Lyra stood inside the lab, exhausted but alert. Outside, the wind had died down, leaving an almost unnatural silence. Lyra moved to a central console, her fingers dancing over the holographic display. We need to stabilize all the auxiliary system, she said. If one of these circuits fails, it could trigger another surge. And this time, she trailed off, her silver eyes reflecting worry. Alex leaned over the display, studying the patterns. Looks like these energy flows are connected to the planet itself, he observed. Almost like it's alive. It's not alive in the way you think, Lyra replied, tapping several buttons. It responds to energy manipulation. The right sequence can control it, but the wrong one could destroy everything within 100 kilometers. Alex nodded, taking mental notes. Humans were always underestimated in the galaxy, but this was exactly where human ingenuity shined. Where alien minds sometimes saw rigid patterns, humans could think outside the box, and that could mean the difference between life and death. They worked for hours, testing, adjusting, and recalibrating. Alex noticed how precise Lyra was with the machinery, her movements fluid yet cautious. You've spent years on this, haven't you? He asked. Lyra nodded. Too many. I've been alone for longer than I care to admit. Most species would have given up, but I had to understand it. I had to know if it was possible. Alex smiled faintly. Persistence is a human trait too, you know. We don't give up easily either. Lyra glanced at him, a small smile forming. I can see that. You're different from what I expected. Before Alex could respond, a new alert flashed on the console. The readouts showed multiple spacecraft approaching the planet, their trajectory matching the coordinates of the lab. Visitors? Alex asked cautiously. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Not friendly ones. These ships belong to the Vexar Syndicate. They've been tracking my research for months. If they reach the lab, she didn't finish the sentence, but the implication was clear. They would seize the technology and countless lives could be in danger. Alex's jaw tightened. Then we need a plan, fast. Lyra moved to a secondary console. I can activate the security protocols, but it won't be enough to stop them if they attack in force. We'll need to use the terrain and the energy systems to our advantage. Alex studied the canyon outside. The jagged crystals and uneven ground could serve as natural defenses. I've got an idea, he said. We'll use the energy conduits to create a trap. If they get too close, it will disable their ships and give us a chance to defend the lab. Lyra hesitated. It's risky. One wrong calculation. I know, Alex said calmly. But it's our best shot. Trust me. Together they set to work. Lyra adjusted the energy matrix, channeling power to key conduits. Alex rigged the environment using rocks, crystal formations, and alien machinery to create obstacles and traps. The process was painstaking, and every misstep could have been catastrophic, but their teamwork was seamless. Hours passed, and the Vexar ships grew closer. Alex and Lyra could see them through the reinforced observation windows, their sleek, angular forms glinting in the faint light. The enemy vessels weren't just fast. They were heavily armed, designed for intimidation and destruction. "They won't expect this," Alex said quietly. "They think they're dealing with a helpless scientist." Lyra studied him. "You're not just brave. You're clever. I can see why humans survive in places we consider impossible." Alex chuckled softly. "We have to. Survival isn't just about strength, it's about thinking, about adapting, about finding solutions others can't see." The first wave of Vexar ships reached the canyon. Energy pulses lit up the sky as the enemy fired warning shots, but Alex and Lyra were ready. At his signal, Lyra triggered the conduits, sending arcs of controlled energy through the canyon floor. Sparks flew, and the jagged crystals glowed brightly as the energy trapped the enemy ships in place. The Vexar pilots weren't prepared for the human-alien combination. Alex had calculated their movement patterns and timed the energy pulses perfectly. The ships shuddered under the force, their systems temporarily disabled. "This is working," Lyra exclaimed, her voice a mixture of relief and excitement. Alex grinned. "Told you. Thinking differently has its advantages." But the battle was far from over. More Vexar ships appeared on the horizon, faster and more numerous than the first wave. Alex realized they couldn't hold out forever. "We need to move the core," he said, pointing to Lyra's main machine. "If we relocate it to the upper chamber, we can protect it better and control the energy more effectively." Lyra nodded. "It's risky. The corridors are narrow and the energy conduits are fragile. But if anyone can do it, it's you." Together, they carefully moved the machine, avoiding sparks and falling debris. Every step required precision, but their combined skills allowed them to navigate the lab safely. Alex used his human strength to lift heavy components, while Lyra's knowledge guided the delicate adjustments. Once the core was secure, they activated a secondary defense system. Energy shields rose from the floor and walls, creating a protective barrier around the lab. Outside, the Vexar ships attempted to attack, but their weapons were deflected and several ships were forced to retreat. Breathing heavily, Alex and Lyra looked at each other. The danger wasn't over, but they had survived the first wave. More importantly, they had proven something. Humans, when working with intelligence and courage, could turn even desperate situations into victories. Lyra's eyes shone with newfound respect. "I underestimated humans," she admitted. "You're extraordinary," Alex smiled. "We surprise people sometimes. That's how we survive." For a moment, they allowed themselves to rest, their bodies tense but their spirits lifted. Outside, the storm had cleared completely, revealing the alien planet in full detail. Jagged mountains, glowing crystal formations, and deep canyons stretched as far as the eye could see. It was beautiful, but also dangerous. Lyra turned back to the consoles. "We can't stay here long. They'll regroup and return, but with your help, we might just be able to protect the lab and complete the research. The energy fields here are unique. If we can stabilize them fully, we could unlock technology that even the Vexar Syndicate could never replicate." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the task ahead. "Then let's do it, together." As night fell over the canyon, the lab glowed with energy, a beacon of human ingenuity and alien brilliance combined. Alex and Lyra worked side by side, preparing for the challenges to come. The galaxy was full of threats, but they were ready. Humans were adaptable, unpredictable, and brave, and that could make all the difference. And so, with the first enemy wave repelled and the energy core stabilized, a new partnership was born. One built not on fear, but on trust, courage, and the extraordinary potential of humanity. Little did they know, the real test was yet to come. The Vexar Syndicate would not give up so easily, and the planet itself held secrets that neither Alex nor Lyra could yet imagine. But for now, they had survived, and in survival, they had found something far greater, the power of human ingenuity, and the promise of a future that even the most advanced alien civilizations could not anticipate. The night air outside the canyon was heavy and still, the kind of silence that made even the smallest sound feel amplified. Alex and Lyra worked tirelessly inside the lab, monitoring the energy fields and reinforcing the shields. Despite their success against the first wave of Vexar ships, Alex knew this was only the beginning. "They'll be back," he said, scanning the incoming signals. "And stronger." Lyra's silver eyes flickered over the displays. "I know, but I've prepared for worst-case scenarios. If we use the terrain and the energy system together, we can hold them off until reinforcements arrive." Alex nodded. "Good. Let's make sure this lab becomes a fortress they can't easily breach." Outside, shadows moved along the canyon walls. The Vexar Syndicate had brought reinforcements, sleek, fast ships designed to strike hard and disappear. This time they weren't coming to negotiate. They wanted the energy core and the research at any cost. Alex and Lyra positioned themselves at the control consoles. Alex's mind raced through possible scenarios. He had learned from years of human survival training that adaptability and improvisation often outweighed raw power. He began calculating the enemy's likely approach paths, their blind spots, and how to use the canyon itself as a natural defense. Lyra worked alongside him, adjusting the energy conduits. "We can redirect the power to the floor panels," she said. "It will create a pulse that can disable their ships temporarily." Alex smiled faintly. "I like it. Let's give them a surprise they won't forget." As the first of the new wave approached, Alex triggered the system. Energy coursed through the floor panels, sending bright arcs of light into the sky. Sparks flew as the first enemy ship attempted to land, only to be repelled by the controlled energy discharge. Lyra watched, impressed. "You timed that perfectly," she said. "I had a good teacher," Alex replied, "and a lot of human intuition." The Vexar pilots weren't prepared for this level of strategy. Their ships wavered in the canyon, struggling to stabilize. Alex noticed patterns in their behavior, subtle movements that indicated how they responded to obstacles. He quickly adjusted the energy pulses, directing them to the most dangerous areas. One by one, the ships were forced to retreat, their engines sparking under the strain. But the fight was far from over. The Vexar Syndicate was relentless. More ships emerged from the darkness, faster and more heavily armed than before. Alex realized that conventional defenses alone wouldn't be enough. "We need to make them think twice," he said. "A real show of force. Something unpredictable." Lyra hesitated. "It's risky. The energy could become unstable if we push it too far." "I know," Alex said calmly, "but we have to try. It's the only way to protect the lab." Together, they channeled energy into a larger pulse, carefully calibrating it to maximize impact without harming the station. The effect was immediate. A dazzling wave of light surged through the canyon, forcing the enemy ships to halt and retreat once again. The canyon shimmered as if alive, the crystals glowing brightly under the energy surge. Lyra's eyes widened. "Incredible. Humans really do have an edge," Alex smiled. "We survive because we adapt. We think differently when others follow rules too strictly." The enemy pilots regrouped, their ships forming a tight formation. Alex realized they were attempting a coordinated strike. "They're learning," he muttered. "We need a new plan, fast." He scanned the lab and noticed the secondary conduits. "Lyra, we can create a trap using the upper chamber. If we lure them in, we can channel energy through the ceiling panels. It will disable their ships completely." Lyra nodded. "It's risky, but it might be our only chance." The next wave of enemy ships descended, confident they could overwhelm the lab. Alex and Lyra executed their plan with precision. The energy flowed through the ceiling panels, creating a dazzling net that captured the ships in midair. Sparks and light arcs danced across the canyon as the enemy vessels struggled, their engines failing. "This is working," Lyra shouted, exhilarated. Alex grinned. "Told you. Thinking differently pays off." Despite the success, Alex knew they couldn't rely on tricks alone. The Vexar Syndicate would adapt and reinforcements might arrive at any moment. He turned to Lyra. "We need to move the core again. Higher this time, near the reinforced chamber. It's the only place that can survive a direct attack if they push through." Lyra studied him. "It's dangerous, but you're right. Let's do it." They carefully transported the energy core, maneuvering through narrow corridors filled with unstable equipment. Sparks flew as panels shifted and machinery hummed dangerously. Alex used his human strength to hold heavy components steady, while Lyra guided the adjustments with precision. Their teamwork was seamless, a combination of human courage and alien expertise. Once the core was secure, they activated the final line of defense. Energy shields enveloped the lab, creating a protective dome. Outside, the Vexar ships attempted another strike, but the shields held firm. Several ships were forced to retreat completely, unable to breach the reinforced lab. Breathing heavily, Alex and Lyra looked at each other. The danger wasn't over, but for the first time they felt a sense of control. They had survived wave after wave, proving that humans could match and even surpass the expectations of alien technology. Lyra's expression softened. "I underestimated humans," she admitted. "You're remarkable," Alex shrugged. "We surprise people sometimes. It's how we survive." Outside, the canyon glowed under the energy shields, a beacon of resilience and ingenuity. Alex knew the Vexar Syndicate wouldn't give up easily, but for now the lab was secure. They had defended it not with sheer force but with intelligence, strategy, and the courage to act under pressure. Lyra studied the energy core, her eyes thoughtful. "With this fully stabilized, we could unlock technology that could benefit countless worlds. But we need more time. Time to prepare, to understand, to strengthen our defenses." Alex nodded. "And we'll get that time. Humans have a way of turning the impossible into possible." As night deepened, the lab hummed with energy. Alex and Lyra continued to work side by side, preparing for whatever challenges lay ahead. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder that the galaxy was full of danger and opportunity. In the quiet moments, Alex realized something important. Humans were often underestimated, but their strength lay not just in their bodies or in their technology, but in their minds. The ability to adapt, to think differently, and to act with courage in impossible situations was what made them extraordinary. Lyra looked at him, a faint smile on her lips. "I think I finally understand. Humans truly are remarkable." Alex returned her smile. "We just do what we have to. That's all it takes sometimes." The lab was secure for now, but the adventure was far from over. The Vexar Syndicate would return, and the planet itself held secrets that neither of them fully understood. But together, human and alien, they had proven that courage, ingenuity, and teamwork could overcome even the most formidable odds. And as the first light of dawn touched the canyon walls, Alex felt a surge of hope. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but humans had an edge unlike any other species, the edge of thinking, adapting, and surviving against all odds. The morning sun broke over the canyon, casting long shadows across the jagged crystal formations. Alex and Lyra worked tirelessly in the lab, ensuring every system was stable. The previous night's attacks had left both of them exhausted, but neither allowed themselves to rest completely. There was too much at stake. "The Vexar Syndicate won't give up," Alex said, scanning the horizon through the lab's observation window. "They'll regroup and try again. Probably with even more ships." Lyra's silver eyes reflected concern. "I know. But if we can fully stabilize the energy core and synchronize it with the planet's natural energy flows, we could create a defense strong enough to deter any attacker. It won't just protect the lab, it could protect entire regions of the planet." Alex nodded. "Then let's finish this. We've come too far to fail now." They worked in harmony, combining human intuition and alien science. Lyra guided the calibration of the energy core, while Alex made rapid calculations and adjustments, improvising solutions where necessary. His experience with unpredictable situations allowed them to solve problems quickly, something even the most advanced alien minds struggled to do. Hours passed, and the energy core began to hum steadily. The machines glowed with a soft, steady light, and the previously unstable conduits were now stable and synchronized with the planet's natural energy. Outside, the canyon crystals reflected the light, creating a breathtaking display. "This is it," Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. "The system is fully stabilized. Nothing can disrupt it now without extreme force." Alex smiled. "And that means we're ready for whatever comes next." As if on cue, sensors picked up movement on the horizon. A fleet of Vexar ships emerged from the darkness, larger and more numerous than before. They had learned from their previous failures and were determined to take the lab by force. "Here they come," Alex said, tightening his grip on the console. "Time to see if our work pays off." Lyra activated the lab's defenses. Energy shields rose around the perimeter, and the synchronized energy fields extended outward into the canyon. The crystals began to glow, channeling energy across the landscape. The Vexar ships fired, but their weapons were absorbed by the energy shields. Alex noticed the enemy ships struggling to maintain formation, their pilots confused by the unpredictable energy pulses. "This is working even better than I imagined," Lyra said, a hint of excitement in her voice. Alex nodded. "The key is unpredictability. Humans aren't bound by rigid patterns. We adapt, we improvise, and that gives us an edge." The Vexar pilots attempted a coordinated strike, but Alex had anticipated it. Using a combination of energy pulses and terrain manipulation, he forced the ships to scatter. Some collided with the canyon walls, while others were temporarily disabled by the energy surges. Lyra watched in amazement. "You really are extraordinary, Alex. I've never seen anyone handle a situation like this." Alex shrugged. "We do what we have to. That's how humans survive in impossible situations." The enemy fleet tried one final attack, pushing their ships closer to the lab than ever before. Alex and Lyra worked together seamlessly. The energy core pulsed with controlled intensity, sending waves of power through the canyon. The crystals amplified the energy, creating a dazzling display that blinded and disoriented the enemy ships. One by one, the Vexar vessels were forced to retreat. Some tried to regroup, but the synchronized energy field and natural terrain made it impossible for them to advance. The Vexar Syndicate, known for its ruthlessness, had never encountered such a formidable defense. Breathing heavily, Alex and Lyra watched the retreating ships. "We did it," Lyra said softly, a mixture of relief and admiration in her voice. Alex smiled. "We did, but remember, it wasn't just me. It was our teamwork. Human ingenuity combined with your knowledge and skill. That's what made the difference." Lyra nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I understand now. Humans are underestimated for a reason, but that underestimation can be our greatest strength. No one expects the unexpected." For the first time since the mission began, both of them allowed themselves a moment of calm. The lab was secure, the energy core stable, and the canyon peaceful once more. Alex felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity's ability to adapt, to think creatively under pressure, had not only saved a life but also protected technology that could change the galaxy. Lyra turned to Alex, a faint smile on her lips. "I have learned something important from you, Alex. Humans possess a strength beyond physical or technological capability. It is the courage to face the impossible and the creativity to overcome it. That is something even the most advanced civilizations struggle to achieve." Alex felt a surge of pride. "That's us. We may not be the strongest, the fastest, or the most advanced, but we survive because we think, because we act, and because we never give up." Outside, the canyon crystals reflected the first rays of dawn, casting a brilliant spectrum across the lab. It was a reminder that even in the darkest, most dangerous places, hope and resilience could shine brightly. Lyra studied the lab systems once more. "With the core stabilized, we can begin research that was impossible before. We can protect entire worlds, prevent disasters, and explore energy in ways no one else could. And humans. Humans are an essential part of that." Alex smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. "Then let's keep going. We've only just begun." Together they began planning the next stage of their mission, expanding the energy network across the planet, ensuring stability, and preparing for future threats. The challenges ahead were immense, but Alex knew that with human courage, intelligence, and adaptability, they could overcome anything. The Vexar Syndicate might return, the galaxy might throw new dangers their way, and the planet itself might hold secrets they had yet to uncover. But Alex was ready. Humanity had an edge that no one could predict, the ability to think, adapt, and survive where others would fail. Lyra looked at him, her expression filled with respect and admiration. "I never expected to find such strength in a human. You've changed my understanding of your species completely." Alex chuckled softly. "We just do what we have to. That's what makes us human." The lab hummed with energy, a symbol of hope and possibility. Outside, the canyon stretched endlessly, a reminder that the universe was vast, dangerous, and full of opportunities. But Alex and Lyra knew they could face it together. With courage, creativity, and trust, humans could achieve the impossible, and maybe even inspire others along the way. As the sun rose higher, bathing the canyon in light, Alex felt a profound sense of connection. Not just to Lyra or the lab or the mission, but to humanity itself. They were capable of incredible feats, and this adventure was proof. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns and threats, but it was also full of possibilities. And humans, with their unpredictable, ingenious minds, had a role in shaping it. Lyra turned back to the energy core, her eyes glowing with determination. "We've done something remarkable here, Alex. Together, we've shown that courage and intellect can protect even the most fragile of worlds." Alex nodded. "And this is just the beginning. Humans have an edge no one can take away: creativity, courage, and the will to survive." As they stood side by side, watching the sun rise over the canyon, they both knew that the galaxy was theirs to explore. And with humanity's edge leading the way, nothing would be impossible.